A foggy Manawatu morning promised mild weather for day 2 of Superlap round 3. After a quick trip into town for some breakfast, we got suited up and headed out for session 4. Sunday promised to be pretty cruisy with only 2 sessions to run, the second scheduled for straight after lunch. Here you can see Bruce Clothier returning to the paddock, having been promoted to the fast group thanks to the attrition of the previous day. And there's the V8 RX-7 of Hayden MacDonald. Cheryl Curran was another promotee in her RX-7. From Brendan's perspective, you can see that this time I'm hanging back, allowing Phil Finlay to open a gap early, while keeping an eye on Nicole Rivers, who was still threatening to outdo me in the BMW, her PB thus far only half a second slower than mine. I still caught Phil by Castrol on my first flying lap, and he gave way without compromising my lap. He told me he likes to do 2 warm-up laps and try for a fast lap 3. My strategy is to press the pedal on the right as hard as I can until it's time to stop. Cut to a lap later, and I'm already looking in my mirrors as Phil starts reeling me in. I stayed in it till I crossed the line, then buttoned off into 1 to let him through, and took it easy for a lap to let my brakes cool off a bit. Then this monster AE86 blew past. Where that came from, I have no idea. Thus ends the penultimate session.
That wasn't as good as I'd hoped.
Our sixth and last session was moved up to before the lunch break at the last minute, so we scrambled to get out there again. Adam led our group out, followed by Phil, with Ashneil ahead of me, followed by Nicole and Brendan. Adam was still coming to terms with having actually good brake pads combined with slightly indifferent rubber. I was doing all I could to stay ahead of Nicole, who seemed to have the edge on me this session. Phil had pulled a rabbit out of the hat last session, running a 23.7, more than 3 seconds faster than his previous best. He told me that after I'd passed him the previous day, he followed my lines through a couple of corners and gained a lot of confidence in terms of entry speed. So I only have myself to blame. On board with Adam as he boosts down the start-finish straight. Cheryl had run 2/10 faster than him on day one, and he was determined to prove which was the faster of the rear-wheel drive Mazda sports cars. Still turning into two too early and sacrificing speed on the run into Castrol. Shout out to Leon, a mate from the GP Forums days who gave us heaps of good tips for getting around Manfeild quickly. The harsh curb on the inside of Brambles means he has to be careful putting the power down for the run down the intermediate straight. A conservative line through Higgins, taking the precise entry and slightly tighter exit. A smooth run through the final turn nets him a low 23. Not enough to beat his Session 5 time, but would it keep him clear of his arch rival? I was struggling meanwhile to get any more pace out of the S14. I dialed up the aggression a notch, but in hindsight I probably should have tried getting to know those curbs better. Pushing the entry speeds had me missing apexes. I wasn't the only one pushing things. Rushing the 2-3 shift isn't a good idea. It's very easy to snag 5th across the narrow gate. Likewise, braking later only caused me problems. The SX's power down is actually pretty decent considering the lock diff and still untouched alignment, but the exit of Brambles is unforgiving on the ham-fisted. Brendan was still getting faster as he came to terms with the unfamiliar car and track, recording a 31.0, his best time of the weekend.
Experimented with third gear on the way up onto the back straight, but I don't think it was faster. On that last lap, my last couple of laps when I tried second, I was actually upshifting to fourth sooner. So most of that time was probably a waste. But it's all about learning. I felt like I was, yeah, the last lap might have been pretty good. The car was tired, my brakes were hot. But we'll see how we go. What happened to Nicole? She bowed out early, I think. She was up there behind me for a little while. I guess regardless, she's unlikely to have beaten my time from yesterday. I sort of feel like I am as well. Doesn't matter. It's all about having fun, guys.
I broke something.
Hey?
I think exhaust is broken somewhere.
It turned out the turbo flange gasket had evacuated in a hurry, limiting his boost potential and imitating the exhaust note of the super trucks. We weren't the only ones surprised by the schedule change. No one told the timekeepers either, and our times weren't recorded, which kind of defeats the purpose of Superlap. It was really the only snag in an otherwise excellent event. Those with their own timekeeping were able to submit lap times, but in line with my policy of not bothering, I didn't bother. The results for the last 2 sessions of Open Class were wholly unremarkable, apart from Nicole running a PB 28.0 in session 5, nearly half a second faster than me, if, as I predicted, not quite as fast as my Saturday time. Adrian Rivers cemented his Pro Street Class win with a 15.0 in the S13, while Hayden McDonald just clung on to the Street Class win in his V8 RX7, with Dave Brew's Session 5 time coming in 2/1000ths of a second slower in the Turbo Civic. Cheryl ran a PB 22.15 in the last session, less than 3/100ths slower than Adam's Session 5 22.12. In Unlimited, Aaron Whareau again did the damage in the Evo. Though he didn't gain any pace on the slicks, he took away the class win from the wildcard AE86 of Jamie Potts, and smashed everyone else by 5 or more seconds. Then it was time to pack up and head out for a beer. Thanks to Stephen and Megan for babysitting the cars, Amanda for the grandstand footage, and Manawatu Car Club for the awesome event, except for not recording our lap times at the end there. The final round is Hampton Downs, and for that I'll have much more comprehensive coverage. Thanks for watching.